What if the biggest misunderstanding in modern culture isn't about fame itself, but about who deserves to be taken seriously within it? What if calling Kim Kardashian just a reality star is less an observation and more a refusal to look closely? Because the truth is, people don't accidentally outgrow labels that were supposed to trap them forever. And Kim Kardashian didn't escape that label. She dismantled it. From the outside, her rise looks simple. Reality television, visibility, controversy, wealth. But simplicity is often the story we tell when we don't want to confront strategy. The reality star label was never neutral. It was meant to reduce her, to imply randomness, to suggest that success came without skill, intention, or intelligence. And for a long time, Kim let that assumption live. Have you ever noticed how often the most effective people don't rush to correct how they are perceived? What separates Kim from the stereotype is not that she rejected reality television, but that she understood it better than almost anyone else. She recognized early that reality TV wasn't about authenticity. It was about narrative control, about repetition, about familiarity, about training audiences to feel like they know you. And once that familiarity is established, it becomes leverage. While others treated the platform as a moment, she treated it as infrastructure. The key shift came when Kim stopped performing for attention and started managing it. She didn't disappear from reality television out of embarrassment or reinvention anxiety. She stayed long enough to extract its full value. She learned how audiences attach, how stories stick, how emotions recycle. And then she carried those lessons into every other arena she entered. Business, fashion, law, activism, influence. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to succeed in wildly different fields without starting over each time? Calling her a reality star ignores the fact that she transitioned from subject to architect. Early on, cameras followed her. Later, she decided what the cameras were allowed to see. That difference matters. When you control framing, you control interpretation. When you control interpretation, you control longevity. Kim didn't fight the narrative head-on. She let it age while she evolved beyond it. One of the most overlooked aspects of her growth is discipline. Reality stardom rewards chaos. Kim introduced consistency. She showed up the same way, emotionally neutral, visually controlled, strategically restrained. This wasn't passivity. It was insulation. Emotional volatility creates short-term engagement but long-term instability. Kim chose durability over drama. And in an ecosystem addicted to spectacle, that choice stood out. Another reason she's more than reality star is her relationship with credibility. She didn't demand respect before earning it. She didn't lecture audiences into taking her seriously. She let results do the talking. Whether people liked her or not became irrelevant once her businesses performed, her influence translated, and her initiatives produced outcomes. Respect, in her case, arrived late but stayed longer. Her entry into spaces like law and criminal justice reform exposed something uncomfortable for critics. Seriousness isn't owned by certain aesthetics, backgrounds, or personalities. Kim didn't try to look like what people expected a reform advocate to look like. She stayed visually consistent while intellectually expanding. That dissonance forced people to confront their own assumptions. Why do we associate intelligence with certain presentations and dismiss it in others? What truly separates her from the reality star archetype is scale. Reality stars are often reactive. Their relevance depends on conflict, ratings, and constant escalation. Kim built systems that function independently of drama. Her influence doesn't spike and crash. It compounds. When attention fades in one area, it resurfaces in another. That's not luck. That's design. There's also the matter of endurance. Reality television fame is supposed to expire quickly. Kim lasted through multiple cultural cycles, technological shifts, and generational changes. She adapted without erasing herself. She aged publicly without panicking. She rebranded without apologizing. That kind of longevity requires internal stability, not just external opportunity. At the psychological level, Kim mastered emotional containment. She rarely appears reactive, defensive, or chaotic in public. This doesn't mean she doesn't feel pressure. It means she doesn't leak it. Emotional containment is power. When someone can absorb public scrutiny without reflecting it back, they become very difficult to destabilize. Ask yourself this: how many public figures lose credibility not because of what happens to them, but because of how visibly shaken they become? Midway through this story, pause for a second. How often do you judge someone based on where they started rather than how they evolved? And how often do you let a label stop you from seeing complexity? If this kind of deeper cultural analysis resonates with you, subscribe to the channel and share your perspective in the comments. These conversations get more interesting when more voices join in. Another overlooked factor is her understanding of modern labor. Kim treats visibility as work, branding as infrastructure, and influence as responsibility. She doesn't frame her success as effortless. She normalizes effort without romanticizing struggle. This recalibration matters, especially in a culture that either glamorizes burnout or pretends success is accidental. Kim also operates with an acute awareness of cultural timing. She rarely positions herself as ahead of the curve. Instead, she arrives exactly when a shift is ready to be normalized. This makes her moves feel less radical and more inevitable. And inevitability is persuasive. People resist disruption. They accept normalization. Calling her a reality star also ignores her role in redefining female power in public life. Historically, women in the spotlight were expected to choose between being taken seriously and being visually desirable. Kim refused that trade-off. She didn't desexualize herself to gain legitimacy, nor did she dilute her ambitions to maintain appeal. She expanded the frame instead. And expansion is always threatening to rigid systems. Perhaps the most telling sign that she's more than a reality star is how much resistance that idea still generates. People don't argue this hard against things that are truly insignificant. Dismissal is often a defense mechanism. It's easier to reduce someone than to reevaluate the rules you've been using to judge success. Kim Kardashian didn't outgrow reality television by abandoning it. She transcended it by mastering what it taught her and then applying those lessons at scale. Visibility, narrative, timing, emotional control, systems, endurance. These aren't reality TV skills, they're power skills. So the next time someone says she's just a reality star, ask yourself what that word just is protecting them from seeing, and what labels might be limiting your own understanding of influence, growth, and legitimacy. If you found this perspective challenging or eye-opening, leave a comment with your thoughts and subscribe for more deep dives into modern power, culture, and influence. There's much more beneath the surface, and we're only getting started.